You won't believe what's been happening behind the scenes with the Ravens. After 18 years leading the team, John Harbaugh is out, and now the details of how it all went down are finally coming to light. This is one of those moments that shakes up the entire locker room and could change the direction of the franchise. But what really pushed Bisciotti to make this decision? How did the team's atmosphere and his relationship with Lamar Jackson play into it? And what's next for Harbaugh? Stick around, because every detail you're about to hear shows exactly how this story unfolded, and some of it might just blow your mind. Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti is sitting down with the media this Tuesday to explain, for the first time in 4 years, why he decided to let John Harbaugh go. Harbaugh led the team for 18 seasons, only the third head coach in the franchise's 30-year history. For years, he was the face of stability and identity for the Ravens, but recent decisions and the way the season ended made Bisciotti feel it was time for a change. The firing came right after the loss in the final game of the 2025 season, a game that would decide if the Ravens finished with a winning record, won the AFC North, and made the playoffs. It was a critical matchup, and the loss made it clear that some cracks behind the scenes had been growing. The outcome made it obvious that quick decisions about the coaching staff's future were needed. Before making anything official, Bisciotti spoke with players and staff to hear their thoughts on the locker room's atmosphere and on Harbaugh himself. These conversations revealed that, even with support from some, there were clear differences in how players viewed his leadership and the direction of the team. This helped the front office understand the tensions that had been building all season. Even though Harbaugh still had credibility with the roster, the uncertainty in the locker room and disagreements about strategies and internal relationships indicated that changes were necessary. These initial evaluations show how the front office started sensing that something needed to change, setting the stage for the internal discussions and decisions that shaped what was coming next. After the final game of the season, Harbaugh met with General Manager Eric DeCosta, former GM Ozzie Newsome, and Team President Sashi Brown to discuss the team's vision and the coaching staff setup for the next year. The goal was to align ideas and plan strategies, but the atmosphere in the room was tense. Still, there was a sense that Harbaugh could continue guiding the team in a positive direction. Right after these meetings, Harbaugh held his final talk with the 2025 roster. Players were clearing out lockers and saying their goodbyes for the offseason, assuming he'd return, maybe with a few changes to the coaching staff. This moment made it clear that Harbaugh still had the trust of much of the team, despite the uncertainty surrounding him. But beneath that surface of normalcy, signs of frustration were starting to appear. Players were noticing play-calling decisions and strategies that caused frustration, and some disagreements were beginning to surface. While not all issues were visible to outsiders, the front office already recognized that certain problems needed to be addressed to keep the team aligned. These internal conversations and meetings helped Bisciotti get a clearer picture of what was really happening behind the scenes. He began to see where tensions were high and which aspects of Harbaugh's leadership were being questioned. This set the stage for the next step, hearing directly from the players about their thoughts on the coaching staff and the team's direction. After those initial discussions, Bisciotti started getting direct feedback from the players about Harbaugh and the team's leadership. Some praised his leadership and the respect he'd earned over the years, while others criticized decisions by the coaching staff, especially offensive coordinator Todd Monken. This feedback made it clear that Harbaugh's influence in the locker room wasn't uniform. There were obvious divides between supporters and critics. Much of the criticism centered around offensive strategy. Some players disagreed with how the team balanced runs and passes. Others questioned the use of certain receivers and how star running back Derrick Henry was utilized. These issues, while specific, grew in significance as the season went on and results fell short of expectations. For Bisciotti, this kind of dissatisfaction raised questions about Harbaugh's ability to keep everyone on the same page. Beyond strategy, some reports indicated that Harbaugh occasionally sent mixed messages in meetings. He would talk about focusing on the short-term and immediate priorities, but then veer into long-term objectives, leaving parts of the roster confused. This lack of clarity especially affected younger, more talented players, who were looking for direct and consistent guidance from leadership. All this feedback showed the owner and front office that the decision wasn't just about wins and losses. It was about the coach's connection with the team and his ability to communicate effectively. How he was perceived in the locker room became just as important as the results on the field.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
A critical issue that came up behind the scenes was a relationship between Harbaugh, Monken, and quarterback Lamar Jackson. Despite mutual respect and admiration, the three didn't always seem fully on the same page. Jackson sometimes internalized frustrations and didn't feel completely understood regarding plays and offensive strategy, raising concerns about how this could impact the franchise's future. The coach-coordinator quarterback dynamic had always been important, but it became even more visible when Bisciotti and the players started seeing Jackson as the centerpiece of the team. Any misalignment could compromise the team's performance, and the lack of cohesion showed that adjustments were necessary. The inability to fully connect with the team's star player weighed heavily in Harbaugh's leadership evaluation. Additionally, differences in vision for play calling and how to use the team's talent contributed to uncertainty in the locker room. While Jackson and the coaching staff respected each other, their different approaches left communication gaps and affected how some players viewed leadership effectiveness. This disconnect revealed that respect alone wasn't enough. It had to translate into results and alignment on the field. This situation was a major factor influencing Bisciotti's final decision. The front office realized that keeping Harbaugh and Monken could hinder Jackson's development and the team's overall growth, proving that the coach's departure wasn't just about immediate results. It was about giving the team a chance to evolve consistently over the coming years. Once he was informed of the decision, Harbaugh accepted it calmly and started exploring opportunities to become a head coach elsewhere. His immediate availability made him the top target for multiple teams with openings, showing that his value as a coach is still huge in the NFL. In the first few days, he plans to narrow down interviews to 3 or 4 teams to focus his time and energy. Part of his process involves studying young quarterbacks like Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, evaluating how he could develop each of them. Harbaugh is also staying in touch with former members of his coaching staff to gather insights and support, ensuring his next steps are well planned. These moves show that he's not just reacting to being let go. He's strategically preparing for his next career move. The teams interested in him aren't just looking at his track record. They want to know how he works with young quarterbacks and shapes an offense the way they need. Each interview will be a chance to showcase his game vision, experience developing talent, and leadership approach, all of which were crucial during his time in Baltimore. Even out of Baltimore, Harbaugh remains a major figure in the NFL landscape. The immediate interest from other teams proves that, despite leaving, his experience and reputation still open doors. Now he has to make strategic decisions about his future, while the ripple effects of his departure continue to be felt inside Baltimore and across the league. John Harbaugh's departure marks the end of an era for the Ravens. 18 years of leadership, memorable wins, and challenges overcome came to a close. But behind the scenes, it became clear that some decisions and internal relationships were no longer working. The firing was a result of a careful evaluation of the team, the locker room, and the franchise's future. What happens next is just as important as what happened before. Bisciotti has already started listening to players, and Harbaugh, even outside Baltimore, has become a top target for multiple teams looking for a head coach. How the team handles Lamar Jackson, the coaching strategies, and the overall organization will shape not only the next season, but the future of the offense and leadership within the team. And you, what do you think about all this? Did Harbaugh deserve to stay with the Ravens? Or was it finally time for a change? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can break down every detail and discuss what the team's future might look like.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.